Welcome, you're watching Kaleidoscope sriLanka Live News Capsule.
As we step into a much-touted transformative era, the numbers are looking good, or are they? Is 2021 inevitable? A regular columnist and one who analyzes the current environment with great focus, Professor of Chemical and Process Engineering at the University of Moratuwa, Professor Ajith de Alwis, delves deeper into why Sri Lanka may be headed into another 2021.
You've just said that another 2021 is inevitable for Sri Lanka. Why?
Well, what I said is that if we go on working like this the way we are doing, it's inevitable. The business as usual, the type of thing is not going to be right for us. You know, we have a $50+ billion debt payment, external debt. Forget the internal debt for the moment. The country may have been taken to the salon and we had a little bit of a haircut, but that doesn't mean we have been out of the woods. We have been given a breathing space and we need to identify ways of getting some cash flow, solid stuff. That is missing still.
How should we position our economy and what fundamentals need to be in place? I mean, if we are going to not just service the debt, but make economic progress.
One is technology. Mind you, this is what Sri Lanka has been lacking for the last 76 years. So I'm not talking about for this change. We have been very poor in technology integration for development. This is Nobel Prize winning economic stuff. Technology has been the differentiator for US, right? That was Nobel Prize for economics in 1987. The second, we need to work on innovation. That mindset of innovation, that is doing things that are different, also doing things differently, what we are doing, because that's the basic. We need to get that mindset, let's innovate, let's do things differently. And to me, those are like fundamentals. Technology need to come in. I'm not referring to like having the mobile phone, having the top of the class car means technology. That's not what I'm referring to. All the segments we have not infused technology in. That is neat. And second is that mindset, let's do things differently.
What challenges are you seeing in actually pursuing what you just said? What is dangerous ground?
Two things. The issue of climate change. I think this is seriously forgotten that we are facing an existential threat, right? So climate change. We are never factoring that in. We're not discussing about it at all. That's number one. Second is geopolitics. So these two. We believe that all of the outsiders are going to help us and we can overcome any issue. That's not going to be. We need to understand these scenarios. We are very poor in scenario planning as well.
So one of your deductions was that GDP should not be the central key value of measurement for all our aspirations. Well, what is the alternative?
The first thing is this is wrong, very wrong. But I know we are not doing that switched. I mean, you are take any country's GDP, right? However, the point is GDP as you know is all transactional based. If you do a kind of like a recorded transaction, the summation of all goods and services. So, I mean, just take the instance, if you are going to the hospital, you're sick, a doctor serves you, restores health, right, that's needed. But if that transaction is recorded and you pay the bill and you get a receipt, that's get into the situation as GDP, that's GDP, right? So it's all transactions, but you know that I'm sick, you're serving a sick person, and that is talking about as growth is oxymoron. So that's where we go wrong. So if you have crime and if you're fighting crime and if there's transactional cost on services on that, it will represent as a GDP. So I think most of us today know the GDP is not the way to go. And that's why I suggested things like taking this natural value resource accounting and understanding where we can be and what we have in real, well understood manner that gives us a little different strength to us. This GDP business is not, because we have poor environmental performance, that doesn't get captured, our well-being get lost, that's not getting captured. There's so many things why we should not be. Development is not linear as GDP indicates to us. Development is multidimensional.
So 2025 has been spoken of as a transformational year for Sri Lanka. What do you think should be done this year? What are the priorities?
You know, in Sri Lankans, we have been enduring a significant percentage of our income is spent on food, right? Sri Lanka maybe about 60% now, maybe even more, right? Now, a country like US or Europe, you're talking about 13% to 15%. Now, to me, a single measure of my work would be getting this 57 to 60%, having a map to reduce it to this 13-15%. I have a lot of disposable income that way, right? Now this is the single problem. The point I am stressing is when you address that, you address multiple things, you gain in multiple directions, and we should do that.
Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Do subscribe, follow and like us if you like more.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. sriLanka Life.